The 2025 Daytona 500 is over, and yes, hello. This might be the last race review you see in a pretty long time. I have the opportunity to make it. It's a Daytona 500. So let's just get right into this. I'll give you guys an update how it's going to go. So weekly race reviews are not happening, guys. I'll be working during the races, but I'm not working every weekend, right? You're not going to work every single weekend, because then you'd be working 7 days a week, and that's just too much. So there might be weekends when I'm not working and something crazy happens in the race and I want to talk about it. Then yes, I can make a video on that. Obviously, the Daytona 500 is the Daytona 500, so I will talk about. I'm pointing to my TV because my TV's over there. The Daytona 500 is the Daytona 500. I want to talk about the Daytona 500, especially after what we saw today. But the weekly race reviews are definitely not going to happen, along with like just me tweeting and stuff like that. I am busy with other things. But thank you guys for the support. As always, you guys have been the best. Sorry for not uploading the last 2-3 days because, like I told you guys, Daytona week was going to be crazy, to say the least. I've worked Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. Today was more of just kind of like sit back and watch the top guys do it because of Daytona 500. But it's been a long week, but it's definitely been a lot of fun and a lot of learning, and very glad to be part of the NASCAR community, both as a fan with you guys and also now literally part of NASCAR. So by the way, I'm still sorry if I say NASCAR and I have to refer to it as us now. I'm still confused on that. Am I NASCAR? Do I start referring to NASCAR as me? I don't know. So I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't make any calls on the racetrack. I'm not part of competition, so that is not my department. But I'm still getting used to that. But hopefully you guys are having a great night. If you're watching this Monday morning, hopefully you're having a great Monday morning. Let's talk about the 2025 Daytona 500. It got delayed for like 4 hours, which we all knew was happening. So I actually don't mind these things because when you know it's going to happen, it actually is pretty okay. Like, all right, so it came a little bit quicker as well than I thought it would. I think the race went green around 2:05, and the rain came after like 11 laps. So I think the rain was expected to come around 3:30, somewhere around there, 3 to 3:30. That is why they pushed the race up. The race start time from 3 o'clock to what should have been like 2 o'clock, right around there. Try to push it up 1 hour. But the rain came. Again, not that big of a deal because it was a cold front. All right, it sucks for people at the racetrack, but a lot of people at the racetrack couldn't even get in because the president was at the racetrack. And so when the president's coming to the racetrack, security is crazy. And so, yeah, it was very. So if you went to the race and you were stuck in that, I do apologize for you guys. Definitely sucks. But it's the Daytona 500. Like, this stuff happens, especially when the president has shown up to the 500 a few times now in the last few years. So if you are going to the 500, just wake up at like 5 a.m. and get to the track as soon as possible. Really, I mean, if you're just gonna spend your day there, just honestly, just get there as soon as you possibly can because it is a crazy race. And out of all the NASCAR races, still the 500 will always be crazy like this, as it is always usually a sellout. So race gets delayed. Nothing really happened to those first 10 laps, and then we have basically a night race, the Daytona 500. And the way the actual race played out was actually really good for NASCAR. Again, do I say for us because I'm part of NASCAR? But in this case, I'm going to talk about NASCAR as NASCAR. Really good for NASCAR as a whole because you guys know how these races are in the first few stages where you're just saving fuel. And so when the cautions came out like that, you couldn't save fuel, right? So the caution for the rain at stage 1, and there was another caution, I think, when Logano was missing a shift or something in stage 2, and those two cautions basically allowed people to come down pit lane, top off on fuel, and we didn't have to worry about the whole save fuel until lap 45, lap 50, and then come down pit lane, and then all that nonsense, which is really annoying. And that is what we would have seen in the 500 for stage 1 and stage 2, and we saw a little bit of it in the final stage. However, we did have that caution with around 40 to go, and that again stopped that from happening, right? So you have that caution come out, and now it's like a 35 lap shootout to the finish where nobody is saving. The intensity gets ramped up, and then that's when you started seeing the bigger wrecks happen and all that stuff. So we never really had to deal too much with the whole saving fuel thing. Now, what I did enjoy was that you still could do it. Like, it was a method to get track position. Like, if you knew you were 30th and there was just no way for you to get up to the front at the current moment, then you might as well just save fuel a little bit. But we didn't have the situation that we had last year where, the pack was going 180 miles per hour. Everybody was saving because of the stages and stuff like that. That didn't happen just because of the way the cautions fell. I do think NASCAR, us, however one, again, not part of competition, but they'll probably have to find a solution to that problem with the fuel saving, because if everybody does it for an entire stage, then it gets a little bit annoying. You do want some of it in, because it's strategy, like you want some of it, it's part of the race, but you don't want 30 minutes of the stage being a fuel saving game. So it's a balance. And well, it's to do with just the level of drag that's in the car. The car has a lot of drag, so that's why everyone is able to save fuel like that and run 50% throttle. So that's basically, it was nice the race played out that way. The race really picked up towards the end, and that's always the best Daytona 500s, by the way. When you have the big wreck in the beginning, it always takes away first, it calms everybody down, because like, okay, we just crashed 20 cars, let's just chill for a little bit, and then next thing you know, it's pretty boring in the middle part of the race. You want the field to get through the first 160, 170 laps without too many big wrecks, because then you can just naturally see people fighting for track position, trying to get up there and position themselves for the race, which I thought we did see a lot of. And today I think we saw, which I like, that it's coming back to Daytona a little bit. It's not there yet fully, but you can see genuinely which cars are the best. The 22 of Logano looked like an incredibly good car, along with Austin Cindric. The Hendrick cars looked good, especially the 9 of Elliott. He looked really good. I think Christopher Bell was running up there for a little bit. Chris Buescher got up there for a little bit. Who else was looking pretty good up there? Did I say Austin Cindric? Austin Cindric, Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, the Penske boys, of course, with the Fords. They were looking good. But the Toyotas were up there too. Bubba Wallace was running up there, stage 2, stage 3 as well. I think him, Byron, and Elliott just made a wrong move in the final stage around like that 30 laps to go, and they thought the top lane would go, and it didn't go because no one was saving fuel, right? So everyone was going full tilt, and those bottom 2 lanes, the history has shown when in this car, when everyone's going full gas, that the bottom 2 lanes usually prevail, and the top lane, because the top lane's trying to side draft the middle lane, they kind of stall each other, and the bottom lane's just able to go if the leader's down there. So kind of the wrong move there for them. But you had, the really aggressive runs coming forward, really great racing, and then we had the big wreck, right? The big wreck on the back straightaway involving Christopher Bell. This just comes from pushing. Everyone's 2 lanes pushing hard in the front, and it's very simple as just the pushing gets a little bit too, it's not like a bump went too hard or anything, or even if Cole Custer did anything wrong. Cole Custer didn't really do anything wrong. It's just the nature of this car, this track, this style of plate racing, where when you are going full tilt like that, if I've always said this, if it's not a Ford on a Ford, then there's always a little bit of risk. Well, there's a reason why we've constantly talked about this. The Penske cars can always push. Front Row Motorsports can always push. The RFK boys can always push. It's because the Ford on Ford bumper to front bumper alignment, it works really well. When you put a Toyota or a Chevy there and try to mix and match, that's where it gets really tough. So this one was a Ford pushing with a Toyota rear bumper, and it's just the very tiny differences, but you're pushing. You see Denny Hamlin on the bottom lane getting a little bit squirrely. I don't remember who was pushing Hamlin on the bottom, but he was getting a little bit squirrely. Custer's pushing Bell, and Bell gets just turned head on into the wall. Again, not Cole Custer's fault, not Christopher Bell's fault. It's just you're going 195, 200 miles per hour. You're not going to lift. There's 5 laps to go in the Daytona 500, and everybody knows that you're kind of locked anyways. Like, you're grid locked. Like, when the second lane and the first lane are going full tilt, you are gridlocked. So you just have to push as hard as possible and hope that you can get the car in front of you clear, and that then maybe that will open up the gap for you. So you cannot lift. Like at Cole Custer in that situation, just like the car on the bottom behind Denny Hamlin, they can't lift. You have to push. That's just the way the nature of this car is, and this package is. And if that's a problem, which I do think it might be a little bit of a problem, how do you fix it? Again, that's for the smart guys in R&D to fix. So, That causes the big wreck, and then Bell is kind of like sliding back down the track, and Ryan Preece, unfortunately, just the innocent bystander, gets launched up in the air and does a wheelie at 190 miles per hour. He's literally doing a wheelie, car flips over, and definitely a scary ride. I do want to say this though. I just feel like I'm so desensitized to cars flipping. I mean, I can't. I feel like every plate race, Daytona or Talladega, we're seeing a car flip. I mean, it's a testament, obviously, to how safe the cars are, that I usually feel no worry when people flip, but it's also happening a little bit too much now. Like, multiple times a year, we have a car flipping. This one was, I've never seen anything like this one, obviously. Never seen a car go into a wheelie and then, flip over because of that. I've never seen that. And obviously, when a car is pointed up in the air like this, the flaps are not going to, engage because the car is not backwards. It's pointed up in the air. So it's just a very one in a million circumstance, honestly, that can happen. And they flipped them. So definitely scary, but also the cars are extremely safe. God bless. And it keeps happening. So again, it's not perfect. The race is entertaining, but there are some safety issues with the car, the pushing, from a competitive and a safety standpoint. From a competitive standpoint, as in, I feel like drivers really don't have too much control. Like, everyone just starts going crazy and they start crashing. But also from a safety standpoint, where the cars keep flipping, the hits are really hard. You can see it in the in-car cameras that the head is snapping all over the place, which is never a good thing. So definitely, while the cars are extremely safe, there is, in my opinion, a lot of room for improvement to make them safer, and not safer in terms of like drivers not going to get injured, because I don't think that's going to happen. I think the drivers are very safe in terms of that. But in terms of making the hits less violent, I think the next gen car can be improved in that area. So we'll see what NASCAR does over the next 2, 3, 4 years with the next gen car to see how they can combat those changes to make, the end of these races not as dangerous. Because I feel like the end of these races are, I can't remember the last time a Daytona 500 didn't have these I honestly can't remember. And there were 500s back in the day where obviously the package was different, spread out, right? Or it was like the 2013 era of the bubble, right? No one could get to the leader because of the little air bubble. So there were eras where you literally couldn't cause those big wrecks. But it feels like every year, every plate race, it's pretty violent towards the end of these races, and there's not really much people can do about it. There was a big wreck involving Joey Logano, Stenhouse before this Ryan Preece wreck, where I said it literally. I said it the lap before it happened. I saw LaJoy, Stenhouse, Logano, and I was like, oh yeah, something's going to happen there. Because, we're talking about three of the most aggressive drivers. LaJoy, really aggressive at blocking. Stenhouse and Logano, you don't even got to say anything, right? Logano, one of the best plate racers out there, very aggressive. Just like Keselowski, very aggressive. And Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is just the most aggressive. So when you put all those guys in the same area with 30 laps to go and they are desperate to get to the lead, what we saw was not a surprise. Logano tries making a move. Stenhouse blocks. Logano then tries making a second move, like trying to go in the middle again. Stenhouse continues to block. Logano's trying to lift. He's getting pushed from behind because, again, there's 20 laps to go. Nobody is going to lift, so he's getting pushed from behind. He can't check up anymore. Stenhouse keeps coming down. They crash. It involves Kyle Busch, who I felt really bad for. I was, when it was Cindric, Blaney, Busch, Dillon on the bottom lane, single file, for the, with 30 laps to go, 20 laps to go, I was pulling for Kyle Busch, really. I was like, man, I kind of want to see him win the Daytona 500 finally. And I felt that last year, and I felt that the year before that as well. Like, I kind of want to see Kyle Busch win. I don't want to see a Tony Stewart situation where an all-time great doesn't win the Daytona 500. It kind of bothers me a little bit that, Mark Martin never won it. Tony Stewart never won it. It bothers me that Kyle Busch has never won it. I think part of that has to do with him being at Joe Gibbs for so long, but also part of it is just bad luck. Like, I think he'll always regret the 2008. Was it 2008? 2008 Daytona 500? I think it was that one. could maybe 2009, one of those Daytona 500s around there. He was extremely fast, and didn't get it done in there. So it was tough to see Kyle Busch running third, and then because Logano and Stenhouse are having a dilly-dally party, that involves him, and Kyle Busch was very angry, and I would have been angry too, because again, you're just chilling on the bottom lane, and then you just get sent to the infield, kumbaya. So very, very tough for Kyle Busch. Let's go to the end of the race. I don't want to make this too long. Yeah, end of the race. Denny Hamlin's in the going for it. Cindric is going for it. Everyone's pushing. Tyler Reddick's pushing. Chaos is ensuing, and I thought it was a really clean final 2 laps, and it was kind of this is what I mean by the wrecks are just gonna happen, because it's almost impossible for it not to happen. I don't think anyone on the final lap did anything wrong. I'm being completely honest. I think Cindric did a really good job in the lead in not wrecking himself trying to block Denny Hamlin. I think Denny Hamlin made the right move to then get a push from Chase Briscoe, who was coming. And then I think it was Cole Custer right on the outside that made the move on Hamlin, but Briscoe didn't go with him. And so Custer is just trying to side draft Hamlin, and he's not even really close to Hamlin. So in his mind, he thinks he can go down there to side draft Hamlin. But because Hamlin wasn't, he was stalling because of he made the move on Cindric. Cindric and Hamlin were stalling. Briscoe nails Hamlin. It kind of slows down the middle lane, but Briscoe was able to get just on the inside of Custer. Custer doesn't know this, and it's just 3 cars going for the same spot in terms of side drafting, and unfortunately, Hamlin gets hooked, collects Custer, collects Briscoe, collects Cindric, and then William Byron on the high side just scoots on through. Talk about right place, right time. I mean, I guarantee you can talk to William Byron. He probably will admit that he probably didn't deserve to win that Daytona 500. He literally was just in the Daytona 500 parted open for him. The cars that were there to win the 500 all crashed, and he didn't have to make a move. He didn't have to turn the wheel. He just stayed near the wall, went straight, and won the Daytona 500 because of it. I mean, you can't get luckier than that, honestly. Sometimes God just shines on you, and he's shown on William Byron tonight, and the 24 car, shout out Jeff Gordon, wins the Daytona 500 back-to-back. And yeah, this one is crazy because, I mean, the seas opened for him, it opened for him. NASCAR also didn't throw the caution. This was from a lot of criticism on, I think it was Friday night, for throwing the yellow, which in turn changed the winner of the truck race because they threw the yellow in the tri-oval before they got to the line. So NASCAR heard that criticism, and they made the correct adjustment, and they didn't throw the yellow. So there were some violent hits. I think Denny Hamlin got hit driver's side door from another car back there in turn 3, but they held it off. They let, Reddick try to catch Byron, let it play out. And then as soon as Byron crossed the line, they threw the caution in order to get the medical crews out there. And so, guys, that's why they do it. They do it because they need to get the safety crews out there ASAP just in case a driver needs help. So it's a big call from NASCAR because there were some violent hits. I thought they were throwing the caution immediately. When I saw it, I was like, all right, caution turn 3 and 4. But they didn't do it. They waited another 10, 15 seconds to throw that yellow. And there might have been maybe some protocols talked about with the safety crews or something just to be super on alert. I don't know. But they wanted the race to play out, so all those criticisms were listened to in that. And then William Byron wins the Daytona 500. So, yeah. What do you guys think? This is going to be my last race review for a while because obviously, it's going to be a while. But what do you guys think? Did you enjoy the Daytona 500? What do you think of William Byron winning the race and being a back-to-back Daytona? See, this is where I just think it's a little bit cruel. William Byron's a back-to-back Daytona 500 winner. Kyle Busch has never won it. That's kind of crazy to me. I'm being honest. William Byron 2 times. And it's crazy that he won back-to-back because the 500 is so random to win now. First of all, you have to be one of the Ford cars, and you have a really good chance. And they end up crashing because Logano and Keselowski and Blaney and them are blocking and, they end up wrecking themselves, then you got to be in the right position at the right time. So to win the 500 is very hard in terms of just so many things need to go your way. Perfect example is Denny Hamlin tonight because Denny Hamlin, I think, did everything right at the end of that race. and didn't win. He didn't make a single wrong move. I think every move he made was correct, and he just got on very, very, very unfortunate that Briscoe was just inside Custer, which then hooked into Hamlin. Like, that is like the most unfortunate. And then Cindric gets hooked because of that. Like, that's just terribly unfortunate. Like, that's just bad luck, right? You need to have luck to win the 500. You need to have luck to win these races. That's where I do wish just a little bit we can put a little bit more control back in the driver's hands, because like I do feel like it is a lot of chaos towards the end of these races. And I think winning the 500 should be not as chaos. I don't know. That's just my opinion. What do you guys think? I mean, it's definitely entertaining. The racing is great. Like, I don't have any complaints about the racing. I just definitely towards the end of these races, it is chaos, man. It is absolute chaos in terms of trying to win this thing. So let me know what you guys think. Again, thank you guys all for the support. And yeah, I don't know when the next race review will be, but if something crazy happens, if we have a 3-wide finish, if something awesome happens, I don't know. If there's any controversy, I'll be honest, I'm probably not going to talk about it. Guys, I work for NASCAR, okay? But Daytona 500, I obviously wanted to talk about it, and I thought it was a great race, and so we're going to talk about it. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'm not going to see you guys tomorrow on Monday. No, I'm not going to see you then. After a very long week, I will see you on Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday I'll definitely see you, so it's been a great long week. Great week, but season has started, and let's get into it. This video has been way too long. Enjoy your Monday morning. I think it's probably Monday when I uploaded this. Peace out.